guys? Welcome back to the Derek Santucci podcast on UltimateChallengeRadio.com, powered by Talent Network. We've got an awesome show set up for you guys today. We've got the immortal challenge legend Mark Long here with us. We've got my fellow three-time challenge champion and challenge finale expert, Mr. Beautiful Kenny Santucci. We're gonna get into what this finale was like and how these guys were being escorted from station to station in helicopters and how that compares to final challenges. We're going to get into eliminate these really cool, interesting elimination rounds, the competitors in it, and the new face of the challenge and what the possibility of what's to come on a future challenge by throwing out challenge scenarios that could possibly happen, and we're going to find out from our challenge experts, Mark and Kenny, if we are on a straight-on collision course with the rookies. Is it going to be a head-to-head collision, rookies versus veterans on the next one? We're going to get into some of the possible scenarios. Before we keep going, I want to say that our thoughts and prayers will continue to be with with the families and the community that was affected at that Sandy Hook Elementary School. I think I'll be traumatized for a really long time having a 4-year-old that's ready to go to preschool. I'm already watching my back, not trusting people. So I guess the only message I can send out and learn from something like this is continue to be nice to people. You know, don't alienate the people that seem to be kind of weird or whatnot. I just say be nice to everyone, because you never know when that, you know, how long you're going to be around that person or when that situation is, you know, when life is going to, you know, end. And so back to on a lighter note, have a Merry Christmas to everyone, have a safe New Year, and let's get this thing cracking. Oh, one more thing. Our sponsors, please go check them out. Click on all our links on UltimateChallengeRadio.com. Stop by Progenics. It's the new, it's that sauce that all the CrossFitters are using. It's a great recovery and muscle building formula. Stop by ProgenicsUSA.com. Rock Tape is a kinesiology tape for endurance athletes and people that are just going through those minor aches and pains that stays on for a really long time. Check it out, rocktape.com. And of course, all our guests this season will be getting gift cards from GNC. Thank you to GNC. Stop by their offices all over your malls, all over the place. Ask them questions. Stay healthy. GNC, live well. And guys, that's about it. What's going on? How are you doing? Please, Mark, can you kick us off with talking about some pocket protein?
Derek, I'm reporting to you guys down in a chilly Florida morning. Down here visiting my parents, taking some pocket protein meetings as well. It's my new company. Visit it, www.pocketprotein.com. It's me and 3 partners from college. We just decided that you know, when you leave your house, there's 3 types of foods: fats, carbs, and protein. There's 2 bad guys and 1 good guy, and it seems like the good guy is always the hardest to come by. And not everyone has blenders or microwaves or spoons and shakers. They don't feel like dealing with it. So it's 2 ounces of pure protein, same size as a 5-hour energy bottle, except there's no caffeine or no bullshit. It was developed by a triple-degree board-certified cardiologist and pharmacist. I take it every day. It also has collagen protein in it to make you young, keep you young. So it's a great little product, and we just signed on Doc Rivers as a partner and Camilo Villegas, a pro golfer, so we're going to have a good 2013. But, yeah, check it out, pocketprotein.com. And, yeah, we definitely should talk about this challenge, because if they don't switch the format and raise these ratings out the toilet, we're going to have a real big problem, don't you think, Ken?
Yeah, you know what? I missed the last episode. I didn't watch the final. I saw part of the reunion. I'm just, you know, very not interested in it.
Bam! Bam, bam, bam.
And Derek, I want to say, it's not even necessary. Go ahead, D. Go ahead, Ken.
I know how it looks when we're, Derek, at the end of the ruins, it was like 4 guys against 2 girls, and, as much as we were there and we were like, oh shit, we almost lost it. As a viewer this time, it's like, all right, you got 4 guys who obviously, there are 4 people left on the San Diego team who have obviously been killing it, and you got Brooklyn that's been squeaking by every chance it had. And then, who else is really left? So, and I know how a final could go. Sometimes it could hurt you that you're with 4 people. Sometimes it could help you. I just felt like, San Diego was going to win, the whole time. So there was no point in me really watching.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
They had the Brooklyn team, which was the surprise team the entire way through, and I think that part of the San Diego strategy was to keep Devin around so she can hold them back the way she did, and in the end, it came to be the deciding factor on who won the final challenge. It's just Devin Devin lagged back so much that Vegas, with 2 people, passed him up. And I wonder if things were different, if Elton and Nani were still around, would Vegas have beat San Diego, considering, Sam holding them back?
Well, how shitty of an athlete must you be that you bring your whole team down like that? I mean, I guess her and Big Easy are meant for each other.
I will say, and Derek, in their defense, it's not even almost the cast's fault. It's the format of the entire show. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you have a team full of athletes and one weak link in a final, they're going to struggle. So the thing that I would do if I was a producer and an executive producer in this is you want ratings. You want everyone to talk about it. You want this to be like the hot show on the air and not just something people are watching because they have for a while. You put the best athletes, guys and girls. You could do rookies versus veterans. It doesn't matter. Everyone likes new faces, but you can't just have these lollygag cast members come on that are going there for camera time rather than to compete that probably haven't worked out except a week before they left. It's a recipe for disaster, and what that is it just kind of taints the whole competition and makes everything turn into sort of like a recess in elementary school rather than an Olympic sport athletic competition. So I was kind of disappointed that they had some of these people on there that weren't very athletic, and nothing against them. Of course, you get the phone call, you want to be a part of it, but you know what? Let's step it up. We know the formula. We know what works. Get some beasts on there, get some personalities, old and new, and let's just freaking go head-to-head and knock some faces in. It's simple.
Wow. Well,
but the reason, and this is what I'll say, Mark, and the reason why they don't do that is, A, you know who the show's run by, and they like that. There's drama.
Oh.
So there's not going to be a lot of drama. There's not going to be a lot of drama when the show now becomes more of an athletic competition than it is a show enjoyed by females and other people.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like they'll never consider it like an actual sport. Like we'll never.
Well, I will say this: one way to spice up that drama, I think, and it's been all over Twitter and everyone knows it, is a lot of the new kids can't wait to go against the old kids and vice versa. I mean, and that would carry over into the house as well, I think. So, I mean, you want, if you want suspense and you want to keep viewers till the end with passion and kind of like the unknown, you got to do something else, because like you said, Ken, some of the people that are putting these together, they're just, they're in it for the drama, and the competition is like fourth in line.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like when you get there, they're like, "Oh, you got to take the competition seriously." But in actuality, how do you take the competition seriously when you got 4 fat girls on your team? And you're like, "Well, how do you take this seriously?" Like,
right? No, I see that point exactly.
Well,
you need to dust off the cleats, Derek. You need to dust off the cleats and get back out there, throw on that headband, and just go for it.
Oh God, I would love to, but see, I've got that thing hindering me. Also, is I've got that wife and kid element, to me that says, listen, he's not going to give us what the show wants, and that's that huge drama factor. And I believe that you can still bring you can still bring the fire without having to, you know, they want the element of, like, romance and shit. It's like, what the fuck cares about that shit? I could care less about, like, Zach and John A's relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather watch dudes like, you know, Zach and CJ go at an elimination round like that, like they did, and turn it into a classic battle, you know, and make it a staple of the show, that you have some badass athletes coming on the show and cracking heads, literally, you know?
Right, no, I agree.
So...
And that was actually one of the moments that I tuned in. What are you looking for? It's over there. Sorry, that was my dad.
Love your dad.
That was actually one of the times I tuned in. It was kind of an exciting moment, was that elimination, because it was like, you kind of were like, you didn't know the outcome before it started. You thought you did, but I mean, CJ stepped it up and did awesome. So, like, you didn't really know, but, like, I don't want to see the you know, some of the other stuff that is completely fluff that these producers love.
Well, to put an end to us talking about those finales, those finals, you know, it seemed like they got to a checkpoint, then they got transferred in a helicopter to the next checkpoint. You know, so, like, compared to, like, that glacier that Johnny Bananas and Camilla had to walk up on, you know, it just didn't seem like it had the same effect. You know what I mean? Like, they had to walk and, like, stop, like, glacier, cold, freezing, and even Frank on the reunion said, I mean, it was nothing. The final was no big deal. It's because they had to wait back on, you know, the girls, you know. So
yeah, and another thing, you start using helicopters and planes and whatnot when you're just trying to make things that aren't that exciting more exciting. You want a final, even Ken during the rivals. I mean, him and Wes, you had to, like, you ran the whole time. You sucked it up. You slept outside, and you were dogging it. So, I mean, I understand they want to use planes and helicopters. It's exciting. It's a finale, but you got to make them sweat and almost die too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was the thing. It's like, you know, Rivals was fucking brutal, dude. You know, we were out there, we were freezing our ass off, stuck with a complete asshole. And, right. Like, at the end of that race, I was just so heated. I mean, everybody else was, like, lying on the floor, but I was so mad that we lost that, you know, I kind of just walked right back down the mountain. But at the same time, it's like, I remember just being, like, physically exhausted, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it didn't seem like they were, you know, the way they were talking about on the reunion, it didn't seem like it bothered them too much.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, like they said, you're only as slow as your weakest person, and like, what a common theme to these challenges is that weakest person, and having that weakest person around, and how do you get rid of them, and how do you keep them around? It's like, it turns into a big, you know, strategic aspect of the show. And, you know, I know that they were harping on her a little bit, you know, on Sam and Devin, and we are a little bit too, because we're talking about that athlete or that competitor, if you will. But we go, you know, these people, they don't do that in their everyday lives. And, you know, if they're going to come on a challenge, that's just something we're going to have to deal with. And that's the card that we're going to have to deal with. If it's a 2, right, we're going to have to play our 2. If it's a 3, we're going to have to throw our 3, because that's all we got to work with. And we're going to have to try to use it to the best of our advantage, however it works. And in the end, if you ask me, Sam comes out to it, you know, Sam, who gets bamboozled on the reunion, you know, and all the way up that hill and down it, you know, she, in my eyes, is pretty much the MVP of the show. Because if she doesn't win that final, if she doesn't win that elimination round to save Zach from going one more round, they're out. If Sam doesn't win that elimination round versus Jasmine, Zach and Sam are eliminated from the game, which leaves Frank and Ashley by themselves and gives Team Cancun a team of 4 with CJ and Jasmine still in the game. So who knows what happens after that? I just think that she got harped on a little too much when she was pretty much their saving grace. I don't know. I don't know.
No, she definitely had that moment because obviously, if she didn't pull off that elimination, then Zach and her would have went home. I mean, that would have been that is her ace in the hole and her ace to pull at any time. Is listen, guys.
Yeah.
When you really needed me, I stepped it up. So I mean, I could see that argument as well.
Here's my joker. I'm going to play it every time. You kidding me? It's always in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want. Listen to me. I just want.
You know what I can't say? You know what I'm tired of hearing too? Like, when Big Easy was still there, they were talking about, they were like, they like blew him up. They made him a storyline, and they were like, oh, he did so good, blah, blah. But the guy also quit, This chick comes on here, they're ragging on her the whole time, and she steps it up. And I think they didn't give her the credit she deserves for doing that. And I think sometimes, like, when they're cutting up the show and stuff, they forget. They drop off some heroes to make others more important,
Yeah.
Right. I was actually surprised that Big Easy quit too, because I just didn't think he was going to do that.
All right. So since we're on the topic of elimination rounds and the people in it, let's get into these arenas. And I think it was a pretty clever little setup. I thought that the games were pretty tough, and they got pretty competitive. They went strategic, mental, physical, endurance. They let them pick. It was all pretty physical. If you ask me, it seemed like the athlete really had to come out of their shell and show us what they had. So we had 4 games, not so fast. The upside down water puzzle game, Hall Brawl, and I don't even know what that's called, but it was the endurance game where they were hitting the ball over the wall. And we had some pretty significant moments, starting with Big Easy and Wes in the first one, where Big Easy comes out on top, shows that he's not just he comes out cracking, and it seems like he's going to have a good challenge. And, comes out in the next one in the water game and just quits. So what do you guys think about that elimination round, those elimination rounds, and those specific people that we talked about right there?
Well, I mean, because we all know him. We all know Wes is about $165, 70, soaking wet, Mm-hmm. So it's like the fact that he ran over Wes at 245 pounds or 260 pounds, whatever the hell the kid is. It's like, that's a given. He should. And if he doesn't, he shouldn't be there at all. And why some of these people who completely suck continuously show up again and again and again blows my mind. But he should.
No, I agree.
And as far as that elimination round goes to Eddie quit. I don't know what the story was with that. It's like waterboarding. I know that sucks, and I wouldn't want to fucking do that, but. When you're there, you just got to suck it up. Every time we go out there, there's shit I don't want to do. Like the time I had to put a fucking tent together. I didn't want to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I was getting frustrated, but I did it. At the end of the day, you got to do it.
Well, that's what I noticed too. Is some of these people, which and I have the same school of thought as you, and I think Derek can, is like you have a bend, but you don't have a break in your attitude. We can bend all we want, but we're never going to throw in that towel. We'll lose. We have no problem losing, but the quit word's never coming out of our mouth because we've accepted that that's the kind of the fierceness of the competition we're getting into, and if it's something that is uncomfortable or you're not familiar with, you never quit. So I was absolutely surprised when he did, because he was kind of a good character on there and was doing good, and kind of wasn't the all-star, but he wasn't definitely the weak link all the time.
As far as owning the episodes, he owned like the first 4. So he won a couple. He lost a couple challenges for his team, won a couple elimination rounds, and then quit, because he ended up winning the second elimination round too that he went in. So he ended up going in 3. And was around for about 4 or 5 episodes, was kind of the story of the beginning.
I actually forgot that Wes was on the show until you just brought it up.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the story with him now too. It's like he goes in and, you don't see him for very long.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is, if you guys excuse me really quick, I'm calling Tim Kaskuba. He's a UltimateChallengeRadio.com contributor, and he's gonna give us challenge scenarios for the future. And
is he there?
I think, Tim, you there?
I am here. How's it going, everybody?
Oh, nice. Perfect. It came in nice and smooth there. So, Tim, you guys can hit him up at Tim_Kascuba, right? Is that it?
It's KO_Scuba.
Awesome. So we were just kind of just to fill you in, we were talking about these elimination rounds. We're going to move into your potential challenge scenarios for the future here in a minute. We've got Kenny and Mark here. This is Tim. I don't know if you guys have met him yet, but there he is. So are we done with these elimination rounds? Overall, Kenny and Mark, how did you feel these elimination rounds were? Did you like the way it was produced? And, did you enjoy seeing these guys go head-to-head?
Ken, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of them were pretty good. I'm tired of seeing, like, the same stuff, I feel like. I mean, I think they could get more creative with it and be a little more, I wish they were a little more brutal. Like, I'd like to see, like, a joust or something a little different. Like, more American Gladiator style stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the wall brawl thing is great. The puzzle upside down, I don't know. It's just like, it's not interesting to watch,
Right,
you're watching this happen. Like, you really can't understand what the fuck's going on. Like, I watched, a good portion of the season, and I still can't figure out what the puzzle was or how you would put it together.
That's funny you said that, Ken. I was actually, the last time I watched it, which was about the third time I watched that elimination, I was like, I still don't know what they're trying to accomplish in this. I know someone goes underwater and it lifts the other person up, but in the meantime, I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
It looks like they're moving up, and there's, like, shapes, and they're moving down, and it's like, all right, I'd like to really understand this game a little more. And I think that's where you'll lose a viewer, lose viewers.
I will say this. I love, like Ken, I loved Hall Brawl. I think Zach and CJ was a great elimination. I was like, I was actually, as a viewer, on the edge of my seat watching it.
Yeah.
The thing where you push the balls back and forth was kind of weak to me. I thought that was kind of lame. The rope thing, the strategy or whatever it was, the rope thing on doing the knots, I know that's a pain in the ass, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
But another thing, I just feel like Hall Brawl, you get it. You get it, you watch it, you get it in 2 seconds. Some of these other things I think was a little more, less, they need to be more visual with them so you can understand it more rather than just, because like I said, when Trishelle figured out that puzzle with Dustin upside down, I mean, I don't know even what was going on.
Yeah. I just know that you're trying to hold yourself underwater, upside down, for as long as you can. And looking at it from like a competitor standpoint, like, I don't really care what's going on the puzzle. All I know is that I have to somehow prepare myself to go underwater and stay under there as long as I can at some point, if that situation occurs. But I
put it this way, Derek. Put it this way. Even looking back at Duel 2, it's, I have a ring on my back, you have a ring on your back. If you take my ring and hang it on the hook, you win. I mean, that's a visual, easy, and it's hardcore.
I love it.
And the thing where we battered each other head-to-head. If we knocked you off the battering thing, you lost. Or the thing where we're each climbing the same pole. We can wrestle and rip each other off, but whoever makes the top wins. Those are easy, and it doesn't take a lot of explaining.
Yeah. I mean, I still had, but that the game with the ropes, where they're, it's like strategy. I don't know how it's called. That's got to be. I mean, I think that was probably a pain in the ass. And like watching it from TV, like you have no idea. You have no idea who's what, where, what's going on. You don't know who's in the lead. You're just like, wow, I bet that shit burns.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think overall I liked the games, to be honest with you. I think all of them had some sort of physical aspect, athletic aspect to the games, whether it's going underwater or hitting a ball back and forth for 3 minutes. I think that it all has I think it had an upside. I'd give them a plus rating for sure as far as the elimination rounds went this season. But now, before we get into the, why don't we just get into these challenge scenarios, and then as a finale, I'd like to hear from you guys what you think about the new face of the challenge, the new competitors, the Zach, the Frank, the Dustin, the CJ. Do you think that these guys will be around, and whatever you think about them, that'd be cool. So,
Ken, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
This is what I think. I think those guys individually, like the Zachs and the Franks and the CJs and whatnot, I think they'd actually be great at a challenge if they were put in a format that wasn't so, held down by, the team. Like, I'd love to see Zach go against Kenny or Zach go against CT. Like, and I think if you want to talk about ratings, that's how you're going to get ratings. I mean, these people will love that. Or even, I'd love to have Johnny Bananas get in an argument with Frank and have them talking and yelling at each other for 5 hours. How beautiful would that be? So in terms of them,
sure, it's already in the works, man.
No, but I'm saying in terms of those guys as competitors, I think they're very important pieces of a challenge. They just need it to be the format allowed. The format failed. The format failed, not those characters. The format failed. If they wasn't put in, with the Johnnies and Kennys and CTs and mixed them up and all, it would have been. I think it would have been a huge ratings opportunity. And hopefully, when we talk to Tim, maybe he's got some of those ideas as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Well, this is my thing. I think that what keeps people coming back, it's like the Pacquiao fight, the last Pacquiao fight, they fought 4 times. Millions of people watch it. It's like people want to see the same people going at it. When you watch, like, the next big UFC fight is the 2 heavyweights are going back.
Cain Velasquez and Dos Santos.
Yeah, and people want to see it again. People want to see the same, heavy hitters coming back. The biggest fights are always like the fights between the heavyweights, or the guys who are always good. Nobody's going to tune in and be like, Nick Brown's going against fucking Big Easy tonight. I can't wait to see the end of this.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
I think having the same people come back, the reason the show gets lost and people don't give a shit anymore, and I truly believe that nobody fucking cares anymore, is that they sway away from it. They're so afraid of giving someone the slightest bit of push. It's like if they kept the same guys who everyone asked for coming back, the CTs, Johnny, Mark, I mean, you're still very, very fucking relevant. I mean, you're included in every conversation that I am. Derek, it's like, when people, I've asked 100 people, if you guys could put a dream team together, and it's always like the 3 of us, Evan, CT, and Johnny. Bring us back, bring these new guys in, and just keep going at it. Let us just keep fucking, there should be like 6-on-6 of like everything physical. I think it should be, and that would be more interesting. Like, you want to see us compete, and you want to see us, and in the interim of those things, it's like, will some of us fuck up and do this, or does somebody do that, and it's like, who's lagging behind? That's what will be visually interesting, not, oh man, let's throw them this big fat shit bag, and this girl who can't fucking get out of her own way, and put them on a team. Because they're going to be gone anyway. They're gone. They're good for fucking 3 minutes of entertainment.
Absolutely. I completely agree with what you guys are saying. I think they need to bring the NWO back. I think they do. And I think they need to bring back like the dream team that you're talking about, and put them against NXT, if you will. Put them against.
I really think in Dina Murray's mind, they really think that I'm too old. I think I won't be back because they think I'm too old, which is hilarious to me. But will I come back for a dream team? You goddamn right I will.
Nice.
If I can throw one more example in here, just from a fan's perspective. I mean, I totally agree with what these guys are saying, and just as someone who's watched the challenge for a decade, you definitely want to see. It's about who's in the ring, not exactly what's going on in the ring. Like, a perfect example, this past WrestleMania was headlined by The Rock versus John Cena. As a match itself, like just wrestling-wise, really wasn't that great. But because it was The Rock and John Cena, it just made it that much better because there's these two guys, they've never faced each other, they're two huge names, everybody knows them. The build-up was great. I mean, it made that match. But if you just watched the actual match and had no context to it, didn't know who these guys are, it's totally lame. But because you have these two megastars, it drew...
Yeah, you tune into that wrestling match for the prepackaged shot. You tune into that match for all the stuff they show you before they even wrestle. All the prepackaged stuff. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it gets you hyped for the fight. It's like watching like 24/7 when you watch a boxing match. You're like, oh shit, I can't fucking wait to see this. It's going to be crazy. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they give it a hype. They give the fight more hype than it deserves, but people get so into it that you see it.
Yeah. And what's it to take? Grab a couple of home videos, have us do our own very 24/7 at home. Throw the videos over to MTV.com's way. They put it up, and everyone's watching. The challenge is over now. But to lead into the next challenge, I'm sure people are already tuning in. Would love to tune in and see what we're doing to get ready. Whether it's, Devin eating ice cream and, well, I guess not. But you throw a couple of those heavy hitters in there, watch them, and watch them get ready, to go to war, because that's kind of how we get ready to do these things. And I think that the challenge needed the new face look. Just they had to do something to get some, new villains, new enemies, new heroes, in there to spice it up a little bit more. So I think that's where it's headed. And Tim, if you'd like to set up some of these matchups, if you were the Vince McMahon and you were putting on the next WrestleMania of challenges, what would it be? What are your thoughts? We'll try to break it down with you.
Yeah, well, just a quick background, I guess, for the people out there. I'm sure you did a good job of setting it up earlier, but just from my point of view, basically this idea came about. I was listening to the Grantland Network, of course, shout out to challenge supporter Bill Simmons. He does this thing called Half-Baked Ideas, where basically him and his friend Kevin Wilds, who works at ESPN, just sort of come up with just random ideas for products or something that they've thought of, and it's half-baked, so they haven't really put a whole lot of thought into it, but they basically just brainstorm it out, they talk it out amongst each other, and basically come up with if it's a good idea or not. So because this was, in my opinion, like a transition season of the challenge, in my opinion, like what you said, they tried to develop a couple new stars, but if it works, we'll see. It kind of reminded me of the 2009 Miami Heat season, where they just signed a bunch of old guys to make up cap room so that when they could sign LeBron and Chris Bosh. So that's basically what I came up with. I came up with 3 ideas for new challenge formats to sort of spice things up a little. So my first idea, it's called Comebacks versus Regulars. Basically what it is, it was inspired by The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC reality show. Back in a couple of years ago, they did a comeback season where they brought back guys that already had been in the UFC and they had to fight their way back for a UFC contract, and ultimately they got title shots. That's how Matt Serra actually got to face GSP the first time and actually knocked him out. So I'm thinking we bring back some of the old names that people have been like, hey, whatever happened to Theo? Whatever happened to Aviv, like that girl who won Fresh Meat 1? Whatever happened to Pete from Fresh Meat 2? Well, we bring them back and have them take on some of the challenge regulars, the Paulas of the world, Johnny and so on. And basically we just get, we get some of the old people that challenge fans have been asking for many years, and we get the familiar faces that we've seen for the past couple.
Be like
I like that one.
Be like a favorites versus regulars, kind of something like that. Maybe
you bring back some, a couple people that just we haven't seen in a while. Like Noor, like people always ask about, hey, when's Noor coming back?
Yeah.
Maybe a nice Eric and Nice.
Yeah. I think I think that should be called like old news versus old news versus new blood or something like that.
I like it.
Or old news versus I don't know.
Hey, old
versus current headlines.
Yes, yes, yes.
Come on, I'm money. I'm money right now.
Boom. All right.
All right, give me another one, Tim. I like that one. Give me another one.
All right. Second idea, some of it that people have been throwing out for a while now, but I just think in the new age of social media, we need to sort of, jump on that bandwagon and get that connected with the challenge. So the idea is pretty simple. It's Challenge All-Stars, but it has an NBA All-Star ballot type of feel. In the NBA, for the All-Star game, you have a balloting process where, like, you go on the website and you nominate 5 players on the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And then once those get all tallied up, those are the starters. And then then the coaches decide the rest. But basically, we're keeping the sort of voting feel to it. And how I see it going is, fans jump on MTV.com, Twitter, Facebook, maybe YouTube. They can get some sort of interactivity with that. And you could have, the challengers, like, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, like, making their case as to why they should vote for them. Maybe they show some training footage, like you said, Derek, and sort of trying to convince, look, I'm in great shape, vote me in, this is what I'll do, I promise to win, all that stuff. Basically, the fans go on there, they nominate who they want to see. Once MTV sort of whittles it down to a certain amount of people, they get a ballot together, fans vote on the final ballot, and boom, you got 2 sides, whether it's 10 guys on each side, 12 guys on each side, 10 girls, or whatever. And there you go, Challenge All-Stars. I like that too.
Kenny, what do you think about those?
I mean, I like both of them. I definitely like both of them. I think keeping the ideas simple, though. I think basing off other formats that work for other shows would work best. Tweaking it, obviously the MTV way, but having that head-to-head competition between old versus new. I mean, bringing some people back. Like, there's so many times where I've even gotten to the challenge. And I'm like, who the fuck is this person and why are they here? How many times have you guys have been like, who's this? Or why are they here? Like, visually, they're not even interesting.
Yeah. It was the first time I seen Camilla in the airport. I was like, I didn't know if she was like a production assistant. I swear to God, the first thing I thought, I thought she was a production assistant. I swear to God, I thought that she was like working with the show. So I'd never seen her before.
No, exactly. I was on the fucking Spring Break Challenge, and I don't remember it.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, we're now in such a world of social media. It is interesting that they'll hire, they'll cast 4 or 5 cast members that have, not a lot of social traffic, but they'll leave out some that have, a huge social following, which, I mean, it just doesn't seem that you don't seem to have to be a rocket scientist to think, if you put Kenny on there who has 90,000 Twitter followers and then Joe Schmo who has 40, obviously the ratings aren't, or the popularity's not there for that other person. So I don't get that either. But that voting thing is great because then, it could allow you to really tap into the people that the fans think are popular.
Well, I think that's pretty cool too because then you go viral. All over the place. And you have people being like, even when I do these, even when I do these little tournaments, these like little challenge tournaments, that we post on the website, it gets a lot of people involved, and they're voting every single week, and they're looking to see, well, for example, like if you do like YouTube videos and stuff like that, like you can make a case. Someone can go on there and just talk shit, kind of like we were talking about the 24/7, and just be like, this person sucks, I'd love to crush you. Then you got the other one on the other side being like, I have crushed you, I will crush you again. You know what I mean? So the hype is continuing to build up if you go videos and go viral and do a preseason, into the season. So I kind of like them both. You get the fans involved, and then you've also got the old news versus the current headlines. I like both ideas, man.
Yeah, and I think with the voting process, sort of like the All-Star Game does with or the Pro Bowl does with the NFL, sort of gets the buzz going before the challenge.
Before they just randomly throw up a promo that you don't know what even is going on.
Right, that would be. I think that would be sick.
Hey Tim, I'm gonna time crunch. What's the third one? Because I want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. This is my I think my best idea. It's called maybe I shouldn't even tell you what it's called. I'll just build up, and then I'll tell you the title because it's kind of a giveaway. So basically, obviously, Johnny, Evan, and Kenny are sort of like the new, like, you know, the new, like, founding fathers. Maybe not founding fathers, but, like, they're taking the challenge to the next level. I think people can universally agree to that. I mean, there's a whole Twitter account just of a dude that supports them bashing other people, including Kim Kardashian, which is a Twitter follower. This idea sort of circles around this idea. Like, during this past challenge, you know, Johnny would send out a lot of tweets, like, sort of insulting this cast, and you know, Kenny would J.E.K. Dynasty, Evan would throw out some jabs. Basically, how I see this going down is we break down the third wall. The first episode is Johnny, Evan, and Kenny walking into the MTV studios. They're in a boardroom with all the MTV Challenge execs. Basically, they say, hey, guys, we know you're super popular. We know everyone wants to see you. You think you could do a better job of casting this season than we can, so you're going to get that chance. We're going to give you all these phone numbers, all these Twitter accounts. You're going to draft, essentially, your own team that you're going to compete with on this mountain. You're going to recruit your entire team. You're going to get on the horn, you're going to get on Twitter, you're going to get on social media, and you're going to gather your own team. And we, as MTV, are going to put together some sort of super team that's going to beat you. And maybe we go up to the same people and we entice them, hey, Laurel, I know you probably want to be on Kenny's team, but if you join our team, Team MTV, we'll give you a spin-off show with Carl Maria. So that is like the whole second episode is breaking down the third wall of seeing like how these teams come together.
Right, get developed.
But itself is almost secondary.
All right.
You got a clever title. Come on, you have a clever title. What is it?
Yes, J.E.K. versus the world.
Kenny, get on him. But here's the thing. We could all sit here and talk, and here's the dead honest truth, is they push these things out right now like a factory line. Like, they just pump them out. There's so much more extra creativity you could put into these shows, even if it's building up with stuff online, shooting videos, picking teams. But it just seems like it's such a format now. What they do is they just look at the field, pick up the pieces like a checkerboard, and fill in the other with different faces. It's like there's such a chance to do clever stuff and creative stuff that I think the fans would love. They just haven't done it yet, and I don't know why.
Well, you know what, dude? The truth is that they hate the show. You know, MTV, they've been trying to drop, and this is what I've heard from the inside. That it's true, though. They really don't want the show around anymore. I mean, name another show that's been around for 22 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, I mean, listen, Jersey Shore's gone. They take us away. They're left with Teen Mom 2, which is the biggest piece of shit on television. So it's like, where do you go from there? I mean, that one show's coming out with all those hillbillies in the middle of wherever. I mean, what's it called? Buck Wild or something? I mean, it's just in the toilet.
Yeah.
That's their next run at the Hills,
yeah.
Opposite of the Hills.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, I mean, I think they probably look at like, you know.
I think the only reason the challenge has come so far is because it has such a cult following, and it is the original, like, you know,
Survivor or whatever
show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, dude. I went on our first quote-unquote challenge that we had people versus each other, and it was Real World versus Road Rules, was in '97, dude. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Look, I think that they're going to bring back the older guys, the old news, or whatever you want to call it, or, you know, they're going to bring back, you know, the people that the other people, you know, that fans love seeing. I think they're going to bring them back, and they're going to put them somehow, maybe not head-to-head. Maybe it's not a rookies versus veterans type of format, you know, but I think
they could easily pair old and new together as a team. I mean, that's simple.
I mean, there's one thing they definitely want is their key ingredient is the drama. So any way they can pin up like an exes and rivals like they did and battle it out, you know, to where people really dislike each other and have to work together and then dislike each other. I think that's.
And I think, hey, real quick, let me get a final thought in here, and then I'm going to take off. But this is what I think. When you start, the best format, I think, are teams of 2, and there's something going on there, or everyone is on their own. Because when you start getting teams of 4, teams of 6, gauntlet style, inferno style, then it's too much to figure out, and it's just too much of a mess, and there's too many weak links that hold people down. So when you have teams of 2 like Rivals or X's or whatever, it just seems to work better, and the viewer gravitates to it. So I think, if anything, have veterans versus rookies, but maybe team them up and have pick teams of 2 within those groups and go head to head. I don't know what it's going to be.
I think sometimes there's like too many teams. Like even on this one, like I was like, oh shit, what other team is that? I think either
and they're 4, and it's 4 of them, and you're like, what is going on?
For the
but like either two big teams or like you said, individual, because it's. When you have 3 teams, you're like, hold on, I'm a little lost here. I don't know where the fuck, where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah, I had no, at some point, like for the first time ever, analyzing this stuff, I was getting my seasons fumbled around with people, and I couldn't remember, and I was like, what the, because, it was a new rookie face, but I think we'll all be surprised on the next one. I think the next one they're going to come back, and I think it's going to be pretty big.
Well, they have to. Well, listen, guys, I got to jump off here, but I'll leave you a final thought.
Yep.
They should do that. It should be some of those real standout characters like the Zach and Franks and whatever versus some of the standout characters of the Kenny CTs. And if I'm on it, they're welcome to invite that little Ashley girl from the new San Diego. She's kind of hot to look at. That's kind of fun and nice. And then there, but
she's right in your wheelhouse, Mark.
I know she's right. She's 90 mile an hour right down the plate. I'll take that 370 one swing. Boom. Listen, I gotta go chop firewood with my dad and then do about 100,000 push-ups. So I'll see you guys later.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, I'll call you guys over the holiday. I'll catch up with you, Ken. Great to meet you. I've seen you on Twitter, KO Scuba. If you're still there. And then Derek, just let me know when it's posted and we'll knock it out.
Copy that. Check out his pocket protein. Kenny.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, what are your final thoughts on this season?
Final thoughts. I don't know. I really didn't pay attention to it enough, so I can't really give you my full, honest opinion. But I mean, for the most part, it was good.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see some new people on there. Other than that, I wasn't excited to really watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, again, I think the challenge needed the new faces. I think that they brought an element there. What they're trying to do is like, you know how they did like NXT, and you know how they tried doing the NXT or the Tough Enough, and they brought the new guys in, stuff like that, and they gave them all contracts. When you thought there was only going to be one winner or whatever, I think that's kind of how it is. So, some new fresh faces to battle some of the older faces. Tim, any final thoughts, buddy? What do you think about this whole season? From a viewer's, from a fan's perspective, what'd you think? What was good about it? What was bad about it? Did you hope to see some of these newer faces? Frank, Zach, Dustin, CJ. Do you feel like, even like Trey, do you think that you'll be seeing these guys, and are you excited to see these guys go against some of the veterans?
I don't know. I mean, I was definitely excited to see Zach. I wrote a pre-challenge storylines article for the website, and that was one of my biggest ones, was sort of his debut and if he can make an impact on a challenge, like, as a physical competitor perspective, and I think he definitely did that. So I'm excited to see him, like, if he were in there, against a guy like CT in Elimination Round, am I going to tune into that? Absolutely. But, like, personality-wise, I mean, he's certainly not the most charismatic fellow. that's a bad thing, because I think people are still going to watch to see him, beat people up or in elimination rounds or whatever. Dustin, I've always liked. I watched his season of The Real World, which is one of the few seasons I've actually watched, and I think he's good for the show. I think he's going to spark controversy with his sort of shaky past, I guess, to put it bluntly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always going to spark people with heavy opinions. Guys like Frank, or even if Johnny was on the show, I'm sure he'd rib him once in a while, but. I don't know. I mean, as a show as a whole, I mean, I missed a couple episodes. One due to the hurricane when my power was out. I just didn't get a chance to watch it.
Oh, my God.
I never felt the need to go back and watch, which is something that I would never have thought for a challenge. Like, I would always go on the website and rewatch it, or, get a second watch in. But this season, I never felt the need, even though I missed those, 2 or 3 episodes. I just never went back, and I just tuned in the next week, if I got a chance, if there was no good, like, NBA games on.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, like, priority viewing for me like usual, and I think most of that had to do with, who was on the show, and did I really care? Did I like seeing Alton? Yeah, but, when he got voted or got knocked off, it was like, all right, well, who am I even rooting for here? Like, am I rooting for, Dustin and Trishelle, because I know who they are, and I watched their Real World seasons, and I just didn't really care at the end of the day. And to hook the viewers, you got to invest them in characters, and that goes with reality TV, that goes with dramas, that goes with comedies. You got to invest in who you're watching, and if you're not, then you're going to lose viewers. And the ratings, I think, sort of showed that. I just don't think there was anyone really worth investing in, whether from a comedic standpoint, from a athletic standpoint, from a just personal standpoint. I mean, there was a few, but
right.
Definitely not like usual.
Hey, Kenny, I guess my final question here is, have you spoken to Alton since the show at all, and did you see how all that went down?
No. I mean, I don't even know what the hell's going on with him, nor, I've really never even talked to him. So.
Well, I don't know. Just the last time we saw him was on, Inferno 3, and, I don't talk to him either. I just, knowing him from the challenge, like he seemed to be like, a nice guy, and, didn't get in any trouble, and on this season, he was like under fire the whole time and just couldn't handle it. He was getting hit all over the place,
Yeah. No, I never really talked to the guy.
Well, I mean, just from, like, seeing him, I don't really talk to him either, but, like, seeing him on the challenges, like, in the past, like, we
I've never
lived
really
with him.
I've only seen him when he was with me, when we did Inferno 3, but I don't remember him ever being, like, a drama type.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And he just... He was caught on, he was in the fire the whole time. He was there, He almost quit.
Yeah. I don't really know what to think of that.
All right. Well, that's about all I got, man. And, Kenny, thank you for taking the time up to come on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry I was sleeping a little bit.
That's cool. No problem. Tim, thank you for coming on and giving your ideas. I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime, man. Maybe you should put this podcast, once you put it up, email it to some MTV execs, and maybe we can get some of these cracked.
Awesome. All right, you guys are listening to the Derek Kaczynski podcast on UltimateChallengeRadio.com, powered by Talent Network. Please stop by and check out our sponsors. They're at GNC Live Well. Stop by your local GNC. They're at GNC Live Well on Twitter. They are at Progenics on Twitter, and that's progenicsusa.com. Awesome recovery and muscle building formula. And Rock Tape is a revolutionary kinesiology tape that you can only get pretty much at the doctor's office. Check them out. They're rocktape.com. They're at rocktape on Twitter. And and check out at Swole Sports. We'll be giving out some free product during on Twitter live sometime when this comes out. So please stop by their site at Swole Sports on Twitter, and I think they're swolesports.com. Kenny, you know about that.
Yeah,
Awesome. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks again. Have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year.